I'm Maitri from UDG Cloud Mumbai, and all of us are absolutely thrilled to have you with us here today. Over the past year, we've been doing a lot of sessions on YouTube, and we thought after all of this isolation, social isolation, that we were all longing for a more interactive session. So today we have Vijeta Pai, who's going to be leading the Design Thinking on Cloud workshop. You might have already seen her present at Google Cloud Community Days India about compute options. Today, she'll be leading this workshop. Vijayata is a GCP certified technical program manager. She's also the founder of Cloud Demystified, where she uses storytelling and analogies to explain the cloud fundamentals and the best practices. In case you haven't already checked out her website, do check it out. Over to you, Vijayata.
Thank you so much, Maitri, for the wonderful introduction. And yes, I'm also really excited to see you all here and conduct this workshop. So I'll not waste a lot of time and let me get started. I'm going to share my presentation. So yes, good evening and welcome to the Design Thinking Workshop for Google Cloud organized by the Google Developer Group Mumbai. I'm Vijeta, the creator and writer of Cloud Demystified, as Maitri mentioned, and I'm going to take you on a journey to decide a robust and reliable model for cloud migration and adoption. Now, before starting, I would highly recommend using a laptop, desktop, or a tablet for best experience because it's a hands-on workshop and you'll be required to visit Google Jamboard URL using the presentation. So just a tip on that. And let me get started now. What is cloud migration? In very simple words, cloud migration is the process of moving applications and infrastructure, whether it is on premises or from another cloud provider, to the cloud provider of your choice. Now, for example, you might want to move a few applications from your on-premise data center to GCP or from AWS to GCP. So, why do we need to migrate in the first place? There are several reasons why an organization might want to move their infrastructure to Google Cloud from an existing cloud provider or even from an on-premise infrastructure. Migration allows for organizations to take full advantage of data processing and analytics, lower their expenditure, get more agility, scalability, and lower their infrastructure maintenance in terms of cost as well as overhead. Now, you might have heard all of these terms and might be wondering what these terms are all about. So you need to remember moving on to the cloud has its own advantages. Like, for example, your application, if it wants to scale up and down, cloud has the solution to that. If you want speed, if you have a lot of people getting onboarded, if there's unprecedented growth, for example, so agility is also provided by cloud providers. You cut down on a lot of infrastructure overhead because you are not directly responsible for managing the on-premise infrastructure. You don't have to do the day-to-day activities. You don't need to have a team to look into it because things can go wrong at any time, and it is a very big maintenance activity. And of course, cloud has really good data processing and analytics offering. So whether you want to monitor or whether you want to analyze the data you have on the cloud, this is a great option. So that's the reason why people would like to move to the cloud provider of their choice, whether it is GCP, AWS, but right now we're focusing on GCP for this session. So even though the migration process seems really promising, it also involves meticulous planning and effort since it's a major investment for any organization. And before that, I'm just going to move on to some of the key challenges. So before moving on to the key challenges, I want you all to visualize a scenario. Imagine you're moving from one house to another. You have to move or migrate all of your furniture, household stuff, pack and unpack after the move. Seems really tedious, right? Think about all the challenges you can face during and after the move. I'll briefly pause here and give you a minute to think. Maybe you didn't pack your stuff properly and it all falls down during the move. You moved all the furniture from your house space, but you realize that the house is small and it cannot accommodate that. You moved a huge cabinet which doesn't fit in the new room, and you didn't plan properly, or the relocation got delayed. There's several things that can happen. Maybe you have hired a really small truck to move your furniture and goods, but it is a lot more than that. So you would need double trips, double the cost. You see where I'm getting at, right? any kind of movement or migration, whether it is migrating to the cloud or something as simple as migrating from one house to another, it requires a lot of meticulous planning and a lot of effort behind that. You can't just wake up one day and say, hey, I need to move to the cloud or I need to move to another house. That is not possible. That is why it is very important to think about all the key challenges before we can think about the process. It's only if you think about the challenges that you can design a more robust solution. So let me move on to some of the key challenges here. Some of these major challenges are unclear or vague goals. For example, you just wake up one day and your organization decides to move on to the cloud, but you don't know why you're moving in the first place. Is it just because everyone else is moving to the cloud, or you want to make use of some of the cloud native capabilities? What do you want to do? Do you want better speed? Do you want better agility? Do you want your application to scale up and down well? What kind of services would you need? If you don't have these goals mentioned in front of you, it is impossible to have a good process, because ultimately after you move, you'll realize you didn't need a cloud in the first place, or you chose the wrong application or chose the wrong service. The next key challenge is operating model constraint. This is very important because coming from an organization that uses, for example, on-premise infrastructure, you have a different set of teams and different set of people and different set of leadership or an operating model. That's what I'm getting at here. So maybe you have people, maybe you don't have a DevOps group at all, or you have a very large group that handles all the on-premise infrastructure. It is a major change for the organization, because you need to think about the cloud native capabilities now. Having your infrastructure on premise, that is having a physical data center, and having your applications on the cloud, they are two really, really different things. And it's not only a physical move, but also a move of the mind. It's a move where all the organization policies and everything needs to be in sync with the movement. Next, we have lack of sponsorship and accountability. You decide to move to the cloud, but you don't have a sponsor to sign off on it. You can imagine how many things can go wrong, right? You don't have anyone who's accountable, anyone who's funding the entire operation, or anyone who's even ready to take on the responsibility. So if that happens, the migration process can be really messy and you'll be in muddled waters. So remember, have a clear sponsor and have people who are accountable and people who are informed. Have all your stakeholders together and keep them informed. So this is one major challenge that many organizations face. The next challenge is poor planning. And this is what I was getting at with the example of the house. If you don't plan well, if you don't plan ahead, and you just wake up one day and decide to migrate in a hurry, you can imagine what can go wrong. Everything can go wrong. So poor planning is it's a big roadblock when it comes to cloud migration. Next, we have the wrong choice of technology. So you decide to move to the cloud and you realize you've chosen the wrong technology to perform the migration or even get your data on the cloud. You can reach into a lot of problems. They can be security concerns, they can be various applications crashing, and just imagine many, many things can go wrong. So having a clear choice of technology as a part of the planning process is very, very important. And next we have lack of change management. Remember, I had mentioned the operating model. So just moving your application doesn't mean using a gsutil command or just using a tool to move all your applications onto the cloud. You also need to get your people prepared, people in the organization prepared. They need to think from cloud native point of view. They need to understand the challenges and the benefits of the cloud. You cannot just wake them up one fine day and ask them to move all their applications. So change management is a process that needs to happen from the beginning to the end. People need to get trainings wherever necessary, and that needs to be taken into consideration while you're moving on to the cloud. Now, just take a moment to look at all of this, and we'll move on to the next slide in a moment. Now, what is a design thinking approach? It's not rocket science. It simply means an approach to brainstorm the presented scenario from the eyes of the customer. It is a collaborative activity where you put yourself in the shoes of the customer to understand the requirements, the needs, the pain points, the current business model, and the aspirations to address some of the challenges that are presented in front of you. So it doesn't, I'm not going to have you architect an entire migration model here, but I just want you to think out loud, just go free. I mean, don't worry about being right, being wrong. Just think about whatever is coming onto your mind. And that is what a design thinking approach is. It's a collaborative model where all of us will get together and we are going to brainstorm ideas. So I'll just let you know what we are going to do next and just want you to pay a little more attention here. Now, I'm presenting you with a problem. A startup company, that is Startup One, is scaling up rapidly due to the unprecedented increase in user adoption. They started with 2 million users in 2020, and now they are at 110 million users, due to which they're contemplating moving to the cloud. So you can see the problem statement here. They started with a number, and now the growth is completely unexpected due to the pandemic, due to the adoption, or even the application for that matter. And they're contemplating moving to the cloud to handle all of this because they don't have a lot of because they don't have an on-premise data center that can handle this load. They want a reliable solution to scale based on load, analyze terabytes of data, and need a cost-effective solution for their needs. So I presented you with the problem statement, what is happening. They are scaling up rapidly, and what they need. They need a reliable solution that would scale based on load, analyze terabytes of data, and it would need a cost-effective solution for their needs. I want you to think, what all steps should you and our organization take in order to migrate them to the cloud? Now, while you're thinking, I'm going to let you know what we are exactly going to do next. I'm going to share my screen. I'm so sorry. I'm going to share my screen. So everyone, I'm going to present to you the Jamboard where we are going to do the design thinking workshop. As you see, it's a white screen in front of you. That means start with a blank slate. Don't think about being wrong or right. You just have to participate. And there are various options here. And one option here has a sticky note. So you saw which icon I pressed, right? I can just show it again. It is this particular icon that has sticky note written in front of it. And you have a sticky note. What I want you to do is think about the process that the company needs to follow in order to perform the migration and write anything down. For example, just a simple example, they should plan how the entire migration is going to take place. They should analyze all the applications they have. It can be a one-liner, it can be really simple, but I just want you to write something down. After you have all your sticky notes in there, I'm going to do some magic and I'm going to let you know what we have come up with. So I'm going to share this URL in chat and I want you all to just go on to this, create a sticky note and paste it anywhere on the screen. Don't worry about the placement. Don't worry about the number of words. I'm going to take care of the rest. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it on Zoom. I'm trying to open the chat window. Yeah, so Zishan, I saw a question. You're asking, what do we need to write? Write anything. So the problem statement that I have discussed, I'm going to open my screen and I'm going to present that problem statement. I want you to just think what needs to be done in order to do the migration. Anything you want to, just write anything that comes to your mind. Just think about the entire migration process and write whatever comes to your mind. So. I want you all to get on the Jamboard first, and I'm going to share my presentation. So just see the problem statement, take a moment, and I'm going to give you all 5 minutes to think about and brainstorm. So what steps should you and your organization take in order to migrate the data onto, migrate this to Google Cloud? So I'm on the Jamboard and you can start. Your 5 minutes starts now. You're all going in the right direction. So yes, keep it coming. Really, really great points. And don't worry about the placement. It can be anywhere. So keep them coming. Really amazing points. Now you see where we're getting at, right? We are thinking from the customer's perspective, and we are designing a migration. So even though you might not have done a migration in your life, you know what to think about. And I can see your range of thought here. It is excellent. You still have 3 4 minutes more. So I'll give you 3 minutes, write it down. And it's okay, even if you're repeating some of the points, don't worry about it. I want you to just write whatever comes to your mind. To the people who are just joining, please use the URL that I have pasted in the chat in case it's accessible, and join the Jamboard. So the problem statement is displayed on the screen. I just want you to put stickies, thinking about the migration process and what all steps need to be taken. So you all have a minute more. And a few more seconds, wrap up. We're almost done. So, and don't worry about the size of the sticky note or the placement. I'm going to anyway move them around in a while. So just write and put it on the Jamboard. And that's it. Now, I have a request. I want you all to stop putting on any sticky notes and not do anything on the screen, because I'm going to now organize all of these stickies into different categories. So I don't want any confusion here. I want you all to stop editing anything on the screen. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a background. Now you see what I did here. I have written 4 categories down and I'm going to move these stickies accordingly. So just give me a minute while I move all of this around.
Vijit, if you are sharing your screen, actually it is not visible because you have only shared your presentation.
Oh no, I'm just sharing the presentation because I
Okay.
want the problem statement to stay ready. Yeah, so I think I'll do one thing. I'll just share the Jamboard now.
No, at your pace. But I just wanted to tell you that because I thought you were actually
Oh,
doing it.
okay, got it. Yeah. So is the Jamboard visible now?
Yes, visible.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm just moving everything around now. So this is a really good list we have here. As you can see, a lot of it is going into the planning phase because that is really important phase. That is what governs the entire process. So just look at the Jamboard now. What did you do here? You have planned the entire process out. You have divided the process into 4 phases: assess, plan, deploy, or we even call this migrate and optimize. So just look at all the stickies we have here. So assessment phase, basically you have stickies around what are the policies, how many instances are required, what is the size of the or the scale to be migrated, what is the scale of traffic, understand how much it will cost. So you're covering all the major aspects like cost, what is the scale, what is the load that we are going to expect, and what are we contemplating moving to the cloud in the first place, and understand what the environment is. So just think about everything we have in the assess phase. So basically it is just an assessment. Going back to the example I gave before, you're moving across a house. What you'll do first, you'll look at all the furniture and all the goods you have in the house. You will see, okay, what needs to be moved? Why do we need to move it? Okay, is it worth moving this couch or sofa, or can I just sell it off? That is the assessment phase. Next is the planning. And you can see there are a lot of things in the planning phase. So what is the timeline? Thinking about how to roll out the migration process, what is the cost, traffic, and the load balancing capabilities. Do we have storage? So basically brainstorming. This is the entire planning process. Think about the house migration. You will hire a contractor, you will hire a truck, you will hire some movers and packers, and you're going to plan the entire process. You're even going to plan the entire timeline. Like you might not shift in one day, you'll take 3 days to shift. So you're going to think about what to move first. You cannot just move your bed on the first day and sleep on the ground for the next 2 days, right? That is going to be bad planning. So thinking about what kind of applications you need to move first, what data you need to move first. If it's a very business critical application, it doesn't make sense moving it first. You need to think about all of this. So that is the planning phase. So visualization, analyzing the users. You have really, really great points here. And then coming up with new metrics to track the challenges and everything. So this is basically around the entire migration process. Next is the actual act of migration or deploy. So transferring all the cloud functions to the new platform, and just thinking about the people perspective, like if the staff, do they need to be trained? Do they need to know more about the cloud capabilities? Of course they need to do, but what level of training would they require? Do we need to have a team? All of this would come on the deploy phase. So even changing the code base for connection and doing the actual deployment process. So using the tools for deploying, that comes into the deploy process. Last, we have optimize. This is a very, very important step, which I see many people overlooking when they're doing a migration. After you move everything, just think about the house. You move all your stuff, you move all your furniture, you'll move all your goods. Do you just leave it there? You won't. You have to unpack it, you have to arrange it into different shelves, you have to arrange your room. That is the optimize or the modernization. So you have to make full use of the capabilities that are provided on the cloud, and you have to adjust all of your infrastructure or all of your applications to fit into the cloud native environment. There's a big difference between running your application on premise or on a different cloud provider, for example, and on Google Cloud. So optimize part is important. Like you see, not many people have stickies around optimization. So of course, security management, giving good IAM roles. I know there was one IAM sticky which I put in plan by mistake, but yeah, having good IAM roles and just organizing all the workload to make use of the cloud native capabilities would fall under optimize. These are the 4 phases. And like you see, we have a really small group here. Still, all of you have broadly covered all of these aspects. And this is what a design thinking workshop is all about. You need to think from a customer's perspective. Look at the problem you have in mind. Look at the solution. Think about all the pain points. Think about what they want to achieve through the migration. Like everyone will have a very different use case when it comes to migration. And think, sit in a group, have a brainstorming session, and think about all these 4 phases. Now, I'm going to move on to my presentation. So can you all see my presentation? Yep, okay. So like I mentioned, there are 4 phases of migration. These phases are assess, plan, migrate, and optimize. These are the 4 phases I just discussed, and all of you have really beautifully covered all of these 4 phases in your brainstorming session. So yes, we need to carefully assess, plan, deploy, and optimize the infrastructure, applications, as well as data on the cloud. Nothing should be taken for granted because it's a big move from one form of thinking to another. So let me start by explaining all these phases. The first phase we have is assess. I'm going to explain assess now. So assessment, like I mentioned, is basically developing a business case, assessing the data, infrastructure, and the dependencies we have. Now remember what all points we have written in the sticky notes. What all data we have, what all dependencies we have, all of this needs to be assessed. And dependencies is very important. Like you may move an application, but that application may have a big dependency of, for example, the finance team. So moving that is going to delay your payroll. Just imagine the kind of frustration that would cause. So dependencies, we need to think about all the stakeholders. By stakeholders, I mean all the people who are going to be impacted or who are involved in this migration process. Think about the people who are impacted as well. It's not just the managers, it's every employee, it's your customers, or anyone who has access to the application. There needs to be a thorough assessment of existing and the new environment, not just the new environment. You need to first see what your existing environment is. If it's an on-premise if it's an on-premise data center, what is the current environment? What is the new environment? How is it different? Going back to the example of the house, how big is your house? Is it a 2-bedroom house? How big is the new house? If it's a 1-bedroom house, you would need to do a major adjustment. So think about both these new environments. A cost analysis. You don't want the migration process to be more expensive than your net profit, right? I mean, whatever benefits you're going to get. So think about cost analysis as well. And this comes under the assessment phase. Finally, like I said, establish dependencies, ownership, and performance expectations. Ownership is important because you need a clear sponsor or someone to own the entire process, and the stakeholders who needs to stay informed. Performance expectations. You cannot just expect magic to happen on the cloud, right? You would need to have clear expectation on what you want to achieve. Like in the previous problem statement I had mentioned, they want to use the data for analysis, they want to scale, they want cost reduction. So this is all the expectations you have, as well as the performance expectations. So once you have that expectation clear, the migration process is going to be much simpler. This is what we call by the assess phase. Let me move on to the next phase, that is the planning. So planning the migration process, that is what, when, and how. Change management, which I have mentioned before. It's a change of the mindset. Milestone plan and governance structure. There were a lot of stickies around the planning phase. So basically, what is the milestone plan? You cannot just wake up one fine day and move all the applications. You need to have a clear plan in place. Communication and user engagement, which is very, very important. You may decide to move to the cloud, but then you have so many users who are dependent on your application. Will you be answerable to them if there's a downtime or when they have a business critical need? So you need to keep everyone informed. You need to keep the lines of communication open, keep telling people, internal as well as external. It's not just the employees who need to stay engaged. It is the people inside and outside the organization and all the users of the particular application. So communication should not be undermined. It is very important. And workload prioritization. You cannot just do everything together, right? You have to prioritize your workload. So that comes under the entire planning process. I'll move on to the next, that is the migrate. This is the actual act of migration where you have to execute the migration. You can see the 3 methods I've used here: lift and shift, move and improve, refactor and rebuild. I'm going to come to that in a while, so just hold on tight. The next one is the migration factory. I'm going to introduce this concept of a migration factory, which Google Cloud uses in order to migrate really big workloads onto the cloud. So I'll move on. What is a migration factory? It is a process used to execute a large scale migration. Like if they have a customer like Startup One, which I mentioned in my example, it needs the migration factory to do that. So it is a process to execute a large scale migration at high velocity. And next, it is a scalable approach. So basically, you can scale up and down based on load, and it is really flexible and scalable. It has minimal business disruption. Like imagine you're moving a startup which has really high dependencies, something like people are using social media, for example, and even a small downtime is going to impact the revenue and the user satisfaction by a large amount. So we need minimum business disruption. It's a cloud native way of working. So the migration factory is going to inculcate a cloud native mindset, a way of thinking from the cloud perspective. So this is what this process is about. And finally, it's a collaborative model. You guys understood the meaning of collaboration, right? What you did right now. It's a collaborative model where processes, people, technologies, everyone comes together and thinks what is best for the customer, not only the customer, but what is best for your organization and the people inside as well. So it is a holistic view of performing a migration. I'll move on. So the migration factory has 3 important pillars, that is process, people, and technology. So process, by what do I mean by process? It is the entire process of performing the migration. So the migration factory pays a lot of importance to the process. What should be moved? How should we move? Who all should be informed? That is the process pillar. Next is people. people inside and outside the organization, they need to be informed, they need to be taken into consideration, and people are at the heart of this entire migration process. So how is this migration process going to impact them? How can we mitigate some of the discontent or some of the disruptions that can happen during the process? Because people are going to get impacted during a process. It is not simple. So that's the people pillar. And finally, we have the technology pillar. What are technologies? What are tools should be used for the assessment phase, for the planning phase, or even the actual deployment? So the migration process, like a factory, like I said, has a holistic view of all of these three processes: the process, people, and technology. So these are the three major pillars of the migration factory. I'll move on. So going back to the phases of migration, this is the fourth phase of migration which we have, and it is called optimize. So optimize basically applies the lessons from past migrations. It takes advantages of cloud native features. It improves performance, scalability, and disaster recovery. It plans partner communication to other vendors. So if there are external vendors involved, it will plan those partner communications. And it will also review data archival, indexing, and legacy system housekeeping. What do I mean by that? There may be data which you have archived in the past. So this optimized solution, you need to see what to do with that data on the cloud. So data archival, indexing, and also housekeeping of all the legacy systems takes place under this process. Now I'll move on. Remember the design thinking workshop? I have one more for you. The startup company has finally decided to move to the cloud and is planning to move one business critical application. Remember all these keywords, pay attention to this problem statement. It's moving one of the business critical applications to Google Cloud. The application is using mainframe based workload, which is not supported by the cloud. Don't worry about the type. Basically, what I want to say here is they're using a system which is not supported in the cloud. They want to maximize business value and optimize IT operations without spending a lot of effort during the migration. So you know the problem statement, you know what they want to do. What I want you now to do is think about the options you should not choose and why. I know, I mean, it might be intuitive for many people that option A, B, C, whichever option is the right one. But I want you to think which option should you not choose and why. So we are going to go back to the Jamboard. You should have the link in your chat. And we are on the Jamboard. I'm going to move the page. So as you can see here, I have the three options. I want you to think about the option which you should not choose, the two options, and why that option is not correct for the present situation. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and because I don't want to run over time, I'm going to stop at 5, and I'm going to project the presentation on the screen so you have the problem statement in front of you. And you can start. Just think about the options which are not correct for the present situation. You all can see the problem statement on the screen, right? So remember to paste your sticky on the right choice. So if you think it is option 1, if you think that it is not option 1 or 3, I want you to just put a sticky there and why it is not that particular option. Just think out loud. For example, I've mentioned mainframe-based workload. So if it is not supported on the cloud, the current workload, why, a particular option is not going to work. Think about it. Don't worry about being right or wrong. I'm not testing you. You're all anonymous here. I don't even know who's pasting with sticky note. I just want you to think out loud. It's okay, even if you're going in the right or some other direction. So. And there you go. I have really, really good options here. So start off. You're all going in the right direction. So just paste it on the correct option. Just don't keep it between two options. So if it's option 3, put it in the space of option 3. Exactly. Thank you. So remember, I want you to think of an option that is not correct, not the correct option. So I want you to just paste the sticky on the wrong option and why it is wrong. Exactly. You're all going in the right direction. Think out loud. You all have 3 minutes. This is excellent. Keep them coming. That's it. You have 2 minutes. Keep them coming. All the options are really good. You all are thinking in the right direction. Really great suggestions. And so, yeah, you all are thinking really well. So you're just thinking why a particular option is not the right for the particular problem. So this is how you're going to respond when you're also talking to customers, when you're going to assess their workload and see which is the right migration approach. So just think about it that way. You're in a company and you are in charge of the migration. Which option do you think are not right? So this is how we are going to advise the customers. Think about it. You all are doing really great. And you have a minute. I want you to wrap up. Just a few more seconds. Whatever stickies you have, just keep them coming. I have a few more seconds and then I'm going to pause this. And I'm going to stop here. I don't want to run over time. I know you all have some really great ideas, and this is really appreciable. So as you can see, there are a lot of options here, a lot of suggestions. Option 3, clearly, according to many of you, is not the right one because it's going to take a lot of effort and time. It's not cost effective, and just creating an entirely new workload can be disruptive. And at the same time, it is not an optimal solution given that it's a startup company and they have budget restraints. So option 3 is not, you're thinking correctly. So option 3 is not a great option. Since it's a entirely new project, rewriting the entire workload is going to be a lot of effort and not worth it. So option 1 also clearly doesn't work. First, because the organization is using the mainframe based workload, which is not compatible on the cloud. So what's the use of just lifting and shifting when the workload is not going to work in the cloud, right? So clearly option 1 is not the option. And you have really great options here as well. So it wouldn't make any sense because it's not going to contribute anything. And since keeping up with the workload will induce a lot of bugs, option 1 is not the correct option. Option 2, there are great suggestions here, like it will take time and effort to figure out, but then at the same time, we need to think, we need to choose between two evils, right? So option 2 is the one that would work the best because first of all, compared to option 3, it is not a lot of effort. But compared to option 1, it does involve effort. But then we have to think about which is the necessary evil. So if the workload is not going to work at all on the cloud, there's no use going with option 1. You will move everything and then you will realize it's not working. So there's no, so option 1 is clearly out of, it's clearly out. So from option 2 and option 3, the option 2 is the right one. So you see what you have done here, right? You have thought about the problem statement. You have thought about the best way to go ahead with it and what the customer needs. So this is what we have done here is a design thinking approach again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention the different methods that we have talked about. First is lift and shift or rehost. So this basically means moving workloads from the host to target environment with minor or no modifications. Now you know why this option wouldn't work, right? If you don't do any modification and you're going to move the mainframe based workload, it is not going to work in the cloud at all. So for this, the applications that you can use for this kind of method is sub-applications that require no business need for change. The compute requirements are supported by the cloud. So here it's a mainframe based workload. It's not supported by the cloud. The software is not approaching end of life. Like if it's a software that is approaching end of life, there's no use moving it onto the cloud, right? And if you have any legacy systems, and if and the systems that has less or no interaction with newer systems, because once you have an interaction with another system, there's going to be a dependency, and that is going to make it very risky. And finally, teams with limited cloud skills. Like if you have a team that has limited cloud skills, they don't know how to repurpose or they don't know how to rewrite the entire code, lift and shift would be good. So it is for small workloads that doesn't have a lot of business dependency or that is not business critical. Here you have seen that the application number 1 is business critical, and number 2, the application has a mainframe based workload that is not supported on the cloud. So clearly this one is out of question. Next, we have rip and replace or replatform. So this is to move applications and modify them a little bit to take advantage of the cloud native capabilities. This is used for sensitive or business critical applications. Applications that need modernization. By modernization, I mean they need changes to fit into the cloud native environment. For example, the application we talked about right now, because it is using a mainframe based workload, you need to change it and you need to modernize it so it can be supported by the cloud. And the third one is it needs refactoring to adjust to the new environment. As you can see, all of these 3 categories fit well, although it will be time consuming. You all have a great point out there, but it is not as time consuming as the next option. The next is improve and move. So it is called refactor or decommissioning the application and redesigning or rewriting it in the new cloud environment. So it's like basically throwing everything away and rewriting it on the new cloud environment. So if your application is not at all meeting cloud goals, this is a good option. Just decommission the one you have and rewrite a new one in the cloud. If it needs more agility and scalability, and if it is critical for business needs, but rework needs to be done before migrating onto the cloud. And this is extremely time consuming and it involves a lot of effort. moving on. Just in a nutshell, I've mentioned all these three categories: lift and shift, move and improve, and rebuild. So as you can see, in terms of flexibility, lift and shift has low flexibility, but it also has a low effort. So if you don't care about just adapting it to the cloud native environment, and if you have applications that are supported by the cloud, you have teams with limited cloud skills, this is a good way to go. Second is move and improve, the second option which we talked about. So even though the flexibility is very high, the effort is medium. So if you need medium effort and a lot of flexibility, for example, you need to refactor it to adjust to the new environment, the second option is good. Third is rebuild. So this is completely rebuilding. So as you can see, even though it has a lot of flexibility, it has a lot of effort and it is very, very expensive. So if that is the current business need, this rebuild would be the right option. So this infographic, if you want, I can share it later, but for now, just have a glance and I will move on. So tools. Since I discussed all of these processes, you might be wondering, how do I actually do the migration? So the first one is the assessment phase. So for the assessment phase, Cloud Physics and Stratozone provide the organizations and Google Cloud with a clear assessment of all the applications that they have there. So what all applications, dependencies, all the security concerns. So it performs a thorough assessment before people can even contemplate moving to the cloud. So it is a pre-planning phase in which the entire assessment is done. Next, we have the migration execution. While the execution is happening, what all toolkits or what all tools we can use. The first is the Cloud Foundation Toolkits. It aims at providing a common baseline for GCP best practices implemented in Terraform and Deployment Manager. So the toolkit, as you can look at the word and make out, it is basically best practices and processes that people need to follow. The next is Migrate for Compute Engine. It is Google Cloud's real-time enterprise compute migration tool. So it is highly customizable and intuitive for large-scale migrations. So this is a tool that is commonly used. Now remember, migration is not just from on-premises to the cloud, but it can also be from one cloud provider to another, right? So in that, Google's BigQuery data transfer service is Google's real-time data transfer service, where you can transfer data from Teradata and Amazon S3 to BigQuery. So this is the tool you use for transferring data from Teradata or Amazon S3 to BigQuery. And finally, the CFD scorecard. So it is a utility that is provided by Google Cloud, for using which you can check for violations or security misconfigurations on your cloud environment. So this comes under the optimized part. So after you move your data, or when you're moving your data to the cloud, you need to make sure that you're meeting all the compliance and the regulatory standards. So the CFD scorecard will give you scores based on that, using which you can assess if you're going in the right direction or not. So you can see here, we have tools for the assessment phase, we have tools for the planning, the actual migration, and finally also the optimized phase, where you can look at a scorecard to make sure you're going in the right direction. These all tools are available online. So if you go on to the Google Cloud documentation, you'll find links to these tools and also information on them. Finally, I'll just wrap everything out. So the word I have here is Rapid Assessment and Migration Program, or we call it the RAMP, R-A-M-P program. So Google Cloud uses this RAMP program to perform large-scale migrations. So all of these migrations fall under 4 phases, as I mentioned: assess, plan, migrate, and optimize. For the migration phase, we have the migration factory, which has 3 pillars of process, people, and technology. And finally, we have the methods that we use for migration, that is lift and shift, rip and replace, improve and move. Now remember, for any kind of migration process, you need to take into consideration the people inside as well as outside the organization. You cannot just focus on the customers and forget that you have people inside your organization, teams that are going to get impacted, programs that are going to get impacted, or dependencies. Think about both. Think about the people inside as well as the customers. What do they need? What best practices do they have? And what organization structure do they have? Change management is a process that runs from the beginning to the end for any kind of cloud migration. Once you have this entire process in place, which we call RAMP here, the RAMP process in place, any migration can be seamless. Of course, you'll encounter obstacles. There may be places where you need troubleshooting, but at least it will provide you with the confidence to go ahead with the migration. So I'll just wrap up here. This has been a good session. Thank you so much for attending my talk. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn, drop me a message, ask me questions, ask me for resources. I'm happy to help. Or you can visit my website, which Maitri has pasted in the chat before. So I can have someone else paste it again. And I'll just open the ground for any questions. So since we're short on time, I would need some help with the from the moderators to just get the questions across.
Folks, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat and Vijita can answer them.
I know this has been a very long session, and I really thank you for your patience and participation. We had really, really great inputs out there. And all of you are already great engineers and great architects, just because you are just because I can see the way you all are thinking. So great job. If you have any questions, just send them on chat.
Okay, I think we can assume that there are not much questions coming in.
I think there's one question that.
Okay, Tanmay wants to know, is cloud fault tolerance or is cloud already fault tolerant? He's trying to understand the fault tolerant mechanisms on cloud.
Sure. So let me just answer this. Moving on to the cloud, you have to remember that it is not entirely fault tolerance. So basically, what Tanmay here is asking is, fault tolerance is the ability of a computer or cloud provider to continue operating without any interruption when one or more of its components fail. So depending upon the kind of service that you have chosen or the kind of dependencies your application would have on others, the fault tolerance can be determined. For example, you may have an application that has dependency on another application on premise. So definitely in that way, in that situation, the fault tolerance isn't great. But if the application hosted on the cloud and both of these applications are more managed, like if it's a software as a service and it is more managed by the cloud, the fault tolerance is much better. So this is a very loaded question and it actually depends upon the situation. So Tanmay, I hope I answered your question. What all options?
Yeah, there's one more question. Yeah, what are the options for migrations other than Velostrata for bare metal migrations?
We have many options. Like I have mentioned, if you're asking about the tools and the techniques, so we have a lot. So what I can do is after this, if you can just contact me on LinkedIn or something, I can just send a document across. Because this is not within the scope of this presentation. So you have a lot of tools that you can use for migrations. Just depending upon the use case, like I said, it's not a one size fits all. Like even Velostrata, it's not a one size fits all. So. Okay, Dharmesh, I guess people don't have any more questions.
Yeah. Okay, I think we'll take one last question. Is cloud suitable for small scale industries?
So you need to do a thorough cost assessment before that. Like startups are also moving on to the cloud. You might have recently heard about ShareChat that has moved on to the cloud. So it depends upon if there's a lot of scalability that you need to take into account. For example, there's a rapid growth that's going on, or you don't have resources to handle an on-premise data center. Cloud is a great option for that. And also, I mean, when we are talking about cloud or small scale industries, even if you want to host a website, you can do it on the cloud. So there's no size restriction, or you just have to look at the benefits. You have to see what all cost you will incur and what all the benefits moving to the cloud. So yes, I mean, it is suitable for any kind of industry, and cloud has a lot of services. Like you have infrastructure as a service, you have platform as a service, you also have software as a service. So if you just want to go write a code and deploy your application, you have software as a service. You have Firebase, and if you want a more robust solution, like if you want an infrastructure on which you want to host your applications, you have Computer Engine and you have infrastructure as a service. So the size of the industry is doesn't really matter. You just have to do a thorough assessment of cost analysis. How much are you spending? How much are you going to save? What is your end goal? And once you have all those questions answered, you can make a choice for yourself.
Okay, with that, actually, we can end the session. Thanks again, Vijata. It was really an insightful session, and I think as a workshop, I think participants really enjoyed it thoroughly. Thanks again to all the participants for joining in. We would continue conducting these kind of workshops in the near future as well. And if you like them, please post it on social channels and spread the word across to your network as well. Thanks again, everyone. Thanks, Vijata, for your time. Pleasure having you on the PDG Cloud Mumbai events.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks to all the organizers and the participants. This was a great session. Thank you.